Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Come on in. Everything's fine. Y'all, everything's fine. Just come in. It's okay. The house isn't burning down. Where are you from? Come in. Do you hear my dogs barking? I hear them barking. Come on in. Come on in. Look, I even wore a nice, happy shirt to celebrate the incredible day that is today because everything's fine. What's wrong? Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Come in. Come in. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know where you're from. Let's give each other some hugs. Let's make sure we're all okay. Let's just hang out for a little bit. Let's just hang out for a little bit, discuss the topics of the day. And yeah, let's have some fun. Tell me where you're from. Make sure you tell me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We got people from Cleveland. We got people from Boston. We got people that think everything's fine. And I agree. See, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Bozeman. We got it. Shame politics is affecting stock price. Yeah, new normal, unfortunately. We got Finland, East Oregon, Colchester, UK. We got Brisbane, Australia. We got Tacoma, the UK. We got Mount Vernon or Oregon. We sound good. Perfect. We got Austria, Australia, Pennsylvania. I'm from Bethlehem. Very good. Poland, Argentina, Wisconsin, Sweden, Texas. I'm from Austin. Welcome, welcome. Utah, Philippines, Toronto, Miami, London, Estonia, SoCal, Houston, Nebraska, Idaho. Look at this. We have people from all over the place. We have a really good representation of the U.S. in here too. I'm fine, Chadwick. Good. I'm glad. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Nothing's burning down. We're good. We got Amsterdam. Everything's fine in Pennsylvania. Perfect. We got Dallas, Des Moines, Pflugerville, right around Austin parts. Perfect. Montreal. Lots of drama today. I tell you, man, there's a lot of stuff to talk about today. A lot of stuff to talk about. I like that smile when you said Bethlehem. I have good memories from Bethlehem, man. I do. I really do. We got Tumbarumba, Australia. That's a fun word. Tumbarumba. We got British Columbia. This shirt is orders of magnitude better than flannel. Well done, sir. Hey, don't hate on flannel, bro. Come on. What's wrong with flannel? We got Los Angeles, Honolulu, Mars, France. Perfect. I'm not fine. No spare cash. No, I feel you there, buddy. I feel you there. Sweden. Perfect. All right, perfect. Let's get started. Let's get rolling. We'll put the doggy on rest here for a little bit. We'll bring the doggy back in case we need him for later. How's everybody doing? I'm sure the last... what feels like 10 years has been a little bit of a struggle. Yeah, man. I think what's been really I know how a lot of us, I mean, obviously I know how I feel, but I can see how the last few days have been sort of stressful for everybody, especially if you have a pretty sizable portion of your portfolio in Tesla, and especially if you're trading on margin. I can't even imagine what kind of stress you guys are going through, but in the end, I think this is yet another reminder, like we talked about last week, that this is a good opportunity for all of us to sit down and sort of go back to basics and think, okay, am I invested in something like Tesla for the right reasons, right? Am I invested in Tesla for the right reasons? And am I willing to accept the volatility and the potential craziness of the market that is going to influence the company, right? If you compare Tesla's price movements to the NASDAQ today, for the first few hours, it seemed like it was decoupling. And then sometime around midday, it's just everything just started tanking along, Tesla along with it. So there were obviously some news articles that came out during the day. There was a ESG removal. We'll talk about that. ESG. We got also a probe into a Tesla crash that more than likely is just going to be like any other probe, where the driver's going to be found at fault, not the car company, but we'll see. And we got the whole craziness on Twitter with Elon saying he's going to vote Republican. A lot has happened today. So drop your questions in the comments. We'll discuss those things. We'll discuss about anything else you want. If you're familiar, this forum, we usually take about an hour. We'll talk about stuff, and then at the end, I'll play a little bit of guitar for y'all just to brighten the mood. And then this shirt here, I wore this one other time on the YouTube channel. This was gifted to me by my father-in-law. My father-in-law is from the Caribbean, and I'm sure you can see how it's Caribbean inspired. We got some flamingos on here. We got some beautiful blue green colors, and I just feel like partying. I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like days like today is another good time to just sit down, sort of, think about what makes you happy, and then if you feel in a certain mood, I like to express myself through my clothing a little bit. So come on in. Miami Vice. That's right. Without the drugs. No, I need the doggy back. Everything's not fine anymore. Here. We'll give him 5 more seconds. Okay. The doggy's back. Take him in. Good? Okay, good. We'll use the doggy for the thing. Play the guitar. Oh, I will. The guitar will be played at the end of the stream. I was just watching your interview with Lars from Best in Tesla. Yeah, thank you for that. We had a really good discussion a couple weeks ago, I think it was. I really respect Lars because his the stuff he puts out is so awesome, and you can tell that it's a labor of love. He's put in so much work into it, and he's also a very knowledgeable person, but also he has a very different perspective because most of the folks that create YouTube videos, at least that I'm exposed to in the Tesla community, are based in the United States, and it's always really good to get opinions from people that are not in the United States in the Tesla community. So I always appreciate that big time. So. It's great that you have that shirt. I'm already working the corner cleaning windshields for money. Oh, man. Well, listen, whatever you need to do. Is this the Tesla Anonymous support meeting? Yes, come on in. Everybody introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Farzad, and I'm a Tesla investor. So welcome. So hi, Kevin King. Welcome in. Why is that first guitar bracket still empty? Do you know what? It's a great question. I was thinking about buying a new guitar here in the next couple of weeks. So I'll keep you guys in the loop what my decision is. I think I'm leaning towards a guitar with some humbuckers, which is good for the kind of style of music I play. But we'll see. I was also thinking a Telecaster or a Strat, but we'll see. Stream on YouTube is great, but it's such a pity that we can't directly link tweets here. I know, right? I think that's why. If Twitter ever decided to go up against YouTube, I think they would be very successful, and that's something we can talk about too. Because I think, there's a lot of worries about how Elon's deal with Twitter is looking kind of crazy with the back and forth that Elon's having with Parag. Yet another crazy thing that has happened here this week. I think I was talking to one of the folks in the Tesla community earlier today. I went and played tennis earlier today, and I think there's some consensus that this is likely to be more a move to try and renegotiate at some point, and this is just a very unorthodox public way of getting that conversation going. A lot of people would say, well, that seems kind of crappy because these dealings are usually kept, for behind closed doors, don't air the dirty laundry. But I think the way Elon operates is very different from everybody else. And he's the very first one that says, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So maybe he feels that there's a lot of stuff with a Twitter deal that smells kind of fishy. And he's going to use the public domain to leverage better and more clear information from the Twitter team potentially. So who knows? Of course, that could get him in legal trouble. But yeah, I don't know. Hello, I'm all in on Tesla and down 10K the past couple of months, and I'm loving it. Just wish I could buy more. Well, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters, Anthony. For sure. Admiral asks, question, why do you think Elon has been so political as of late? Not to say that he shouldn't or can't, but from your perspective, why has he been more politically vocal? That's a great question, Admiral. Thank you very much for that question. So I really think what it is that Elon, now that he's been very engaged in the Twitter sort of purchase, and the fact that he's been a champion for free speech, whatever you want to call that. He's been pro free speech. Free speech is almost becoming like a buzzword now. It's like a Web3 type thing. It's free speech. Okay, what does that mean actually? But I think this is a way for Elon to try and move the conversation towards a more open forum, in my opinion. So one of the things to think about Elon, at least, I've been following his stuff for over 10 years. So it's kind of like, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes as to why he would be doing this. I really think it's connected to the fact that he feels that having open discourse about anything is very important, and not being afraid to sort of maybe poke the bear in some situations could result in as essentially being an example, or giving those that want to be part of that discussion more assurance that, hey, you can do it on Twitter, or hey, I'm doing it, why shouldn't you do it? Or it really comes down to, hey, Elon in his brain is probably like, well, I think this is the right thing to do and the right thing to say, so I'm going to say it. It could be as simple as that. It really could be as simple as that. It could also be that because he hasn't, Tesla is firing on all cylinders. Do you get it? Firing on all cylinders. Do you get it? That was from the All In podcast. SpaceX is doing great. His companies are doing really well, right? So a percentage of his brain is now freed up to think about other things. And the Twitter acquisition has a lot of things attached to it, right? And one of them is somewhat political in nature, because he was one of them that said, hey, Twitter definitely does have a left-leaning bias, which based on some of the public things that have happened with it, I think most people can agree that's the case. Right or wrong, that's the case, right? So I just think it's part of that thought process that he feels it's he wants to say what he wants to say, and perhaps he's trying to create a culture on the internet where it's okay for people to just speak their mind. And now one can make the argument that says, well, why are you doing that as a CEO of a company? Keep that stuff private. But in reality, if you really think about it and how Elon thinks, I feel like those two things don't really jive together, because I think the whole CEO can't really get political because you're going to create division in the country is purely a result of how people perceive that comment. And it's not, and it's less to do with the fact that if there's open discourse and people are comfortable with what people are saying, that division doesn't really happen, right? So if you speak your mind, why does it automatically create division, right? So I think maybe that's what he's thinking, and perhaps that's his thought process behind it. That might be super convoluted and maybe like crazy thought process, but I really think that's what it is. I just think he's sort of testing the waters and pushing the conversation towards a more open discussion where people are more accepting of other people's ideas. Or there could be things happening in the background where maybe it's pissing him off and is like, you know what, I'm going to take to Twitter and start shitting on people. I don't know. I have no idea. But that's kind of where my head's going, sort of the first 95% of what I said. Let me know if that makes any sense. Let me know what you think. Hi, buddy. Hello. I thought that sunlight is his best disinfectant. Was Elon ironically quoting Vijay from Joe Rogan's podcast with Tim Pool? I don't know about that. I've heard him say that before. I could be wrong, but I've heard that saying before. Yale is the epicenter of woke mind virus attempting to destroy civilization. Those are very strong words, aren't they? Yeah. Hi, and he said that on one of his recent tweets in reply to somebody that was saying something to him about something. I forget what it was, but that was something that was said sometime this week. Hi, I saw your old video on Tesla stock price doing 50x. Do you still believe it can 50x, or have you changed your mind? No, I still think it can 50x. Yeah, I renewed my model for 2035. I think it went down from like 49 to like 47 or something because of some just adjustments I made to my multiples later on. But these things, I mean, who knows? Like 2035 is so far away, and it's just a thought exercise and it's for fun, right? But yeah, absolutely. If bot and FSD really take hold, the question becomes, why wouldn't it 50x if full self-driving and the bot can actually bring the value that they're staged to do, especially in the longer term. So Elon needs to stop with this Twitter bullshit. So I can totally see how some folks feel that way. But I am on the camp of, it's creating very important discussions, and it's creating really impactful things on the internet, and it's, I think, exposing a lot of things that maybe a lot of people are uncomfortable with. And I could understand how, this could somehow correlate to people feeling concerned about their holdings in Tesla. But in reality, if you invest in Tesla, one of the things to keep in mind is that you're investing in Elon as well. And Elon's going to Elon. And this is par for the course for Elon, in my opinion. What I've noticed is that Elon is moving towards the generic labels, and rather than fighting specific people that call him out, this is a bit concerning. I could see that, Tom. I could see how that's the case. I think that's a valid point. I think that's a very valid point. I've been holding Tesla since 2019. The stock seems to get riskier and riskier as time passes. What are your thoughts? No, I mean, it depends how you define risk, right? risk in my head is, I've been invested since 2012. So risk in my head is things that are happening that are existential to the survival of Tesla and SpaceX and whatever companies is running. I don't see how any of this stuff is as existential to the companies. Maybe yet it could be at some point, but I just don't think so. I just don't think so. I think his companies are running too smoothly, and I think at some point, a lot of people are motivated by money, and so if you are to assume that Tesla continues to execute where it is, short of sabotage, with it, which is strictly illegal and is very unlikely to happen, in my opinion, given that Tesla has very good security, because I worked there and I saw it. I think, I don't see it being riskier. I think it was way riskier back in 2017, 2018 when they were ramping Model 3, and there could have been an environment where it was going to be super tough to borrow money because of the state of the company and the stock. But now that's not the case, and they have a ton of talent at those companies. And if you really look at Tesla stock, I mean, it really isn't doing that much different than the rest of the market. And him getting into this stuff, if it really was that risky, I feel like there would be outsized moves of Tesla going down versus the NASDAQ, but it's really going in lockstep with it. Not investment advice. I am the least knowledgeable investing person in the world, so don't take what I say at face value. But I really do think that if this stuff was actually risky, it would be hurting the stock a lot more than it already has. And if you compare it to the rest of the stock market, it's outperforming a lot of the stock market if you really think about it. If you take the growth of the NASDAQ from, say, September of 2020 to today, and then take Tesla September 2020 to today, Tesla's significantly higher, right? So that's how I perceive it. And I get there's a lot of noise and craziness going on now, but that's where separating signal from the noise is very, very important. And the signal is that Tesla has 2 factories that are coming on board that are going to be cranking out cars at a much higher profit margin. The demand is unlimited. EV adoption is continuing to increase. If there was a recession, governments are going to look to prop up EVs and not gas, which is going to continue to add to demand to Tesla. And and full self-driving is right around the corner. The bot's coming out. Psh. Let me know what you think, but yeah, that's sort of how I think about risk. I don't think it's risk at all. And I think recently China gave props to Tesla too for doing a good job of running their factory. So yeah, crazy. Farza, how's it going, mate? The Dr. Know-It-All interview. Love it. Thank you very much. I had Dr. Know-It-All on my channel yesterday, I think it was. Great conversation with him. He's a cool guy, really nice guy. I met him at TeslaCon. Super, super smart. We're definitely going to be talking a lot more, so I'm looking forward to continuing that with him. So, yes. I asked you that because no company is worth more than $3 trillion. If Tesla with 50x, it would have a market cap of about $50 trillion, which is just mind blowing. No, I get it, Oscar. But then, go back to 2000. Do this thought exercise in 2000. What was the market cap of the largest company in 2000? And then see if you can find any of them that are even close to $1 trillion. And think about where the economy is going. But I could see that. But what it really comes down to is, do the math on a conservative basis of how the bot and the FSC could transform the economy, and then the numbers are the numbers. Of course, there are assumptions, but the numbers bear out those assumptions essentially, with relatively conservative PEs of like 25. Call it. Awesome. Look at all this. This chat is active right now. We got 300 people in the stream. Welcome all. The doggy says hello. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Come on in. If you haven't liked the stream yet, I would super appreciate it if you give it a like. It helps more people see this on YouTube, especially if you're enjoying it. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if it's accessible, just hit that like button for me if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Inflation is keeping the balance. Yeah, that's a whole kind of craziness there, isn't it? Why haven't we heard much on the 4680 front? Is progress slow, hence the Tesla silence on the topic? No, I think when Tesla's silent on stuff, usually they're just working on it really hard. We'll learn about it more. I mean, they are ramping Austin, so I think we'll find about it. We'll find out more about it through like people getting their cars, and once Sandy gets a 4680 Model Y, we'll know everything about it. So that's what I'm really excited for. I hope we can get Sandy a Model Y with 4680 as quickly as humanly possible. From your tweet earlier today, calling out BS on behalf of us without access to the inner workings of massive institutions is more important than Tesla stock. I agree. Thank you, Espen. Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about Elon. Especially if you trust him and you think he's doing this for the right reasons. I think having somebody at that level of wealth and sort of plugged into the upper echelon of society, being willing to call out things that he believes needs to be called out, at the very least gives insight into some of the dynamics there. And that in itself is very valuable for people that are incapable of seeing those things. Because you have to admit, I mean, there are clubs and there are things in the upper echelon of society that most people, the humongous majority of the population, have zero access to. And it seems like Elon is somebody that's willing to give tiny windows into what's going on. And I think that's valuable for society, especially if you take him at the word of like, yeah, he's somebody that, is very values the truth. I don't see how that's a bad thing, my opinion. Amber keeps asking questions. How do you get your stuff over here? Do you think there will be an announcement on AI Day 2, perhaps bot demo or something else? Yeah, I think it'll probably be a bot thing, but probably a full self-driving demo. I'm going to guess. The dog is also a bit coked out. Is he? Oh, no, for sure. He's definitely feeling something. How does Tesla navigate business in China, even though Elon mentioned that the sole purpose of a company is to provide value and not get political, especially given that U.S.-China relations aren't good? I think the fact that they've been able to have a wholly owned manufacturing plant in China, like the first U.S. company ever to do that, I think says a lot about how they navigate China. So, yeah. What did you mean when you said Elon exposed himself with the poop emoji when you were talking to Dr. Know-It-All? Yeah, so I actually wasn't saying that Elon exposed himself. I said that Parag exposed himself. So in that Twitter thread, let me show you guys what I'm talking about here, because I think this is extremely important. Let me pull up the thread from our friend Parag. Yeah. There was something he said that was very, okay, cool. So let me go ahead and pull this sucker up. Let me share my screen and let me zoom. I need to move my face here. Let's see. Let me make myself a little bit smaller. Let's go to the bottom corner. Do confirm with me, I can't talk. Do confirm that you can still see the stream clearly as I make these changes. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, cool. So let me tell you exactly what I'm talking about here when the question is Elon exposed himself with the poop emoji, but something else. But what I'm really talking about is Parag exposed himself. So let's talk about spam, and let's do so with the benefit of data, facts, and context. First, let me state the obvious spam harms experience for real people on Twitter, yada, yada, agreed. Next, spam isn't just binary. The most advanced spam campaigns use combinations of coordinated humans and automation. Sure. Final context, fighting spam is incredibly dynamic. The advertisers, their goal and tactics evolve constantly. Adversaries, evolve constantly, often in response to our work. Makes sense. Cool. This is the tweet I want to focus on. Okay, and you guys tell me if I'm being stupid. All right? We suspend over 500,000 spam accounts every day. Okay? 500,000 spam accounts every day. Over. Okay? So assume the lower bound. Assume the lower bound of, just call it 500,000, okay? 500,000 times, let's call it 90 days in a quarter, okay? So 500,000, 500,000 times 90 days in a quarter, that's 45 million accounts quarterly that they suspend. Usually before any of you even see them on Twitter. So usually is an interesting word because usually implies more than half in my head, right? So 50% of those 45 million accounts usually every single day get suspended before you notice them. But as soon as you notice them, as soon as they say something, it in fact becomes a bot tweet or a bot account, right? We also lock millions of accounts each week that we suspect may be spam. Millions. Okay, so millions, that's an interesting word, right? So million is, in this case, I'm assuming is 2. It could be 10. It could be 9, but I'm going to assume it's 2, okay? So 2 times 13 weeks in a quarter. Okay, so there's 52 weeks in a year. 52 divided by 4 quarters is 13 weeks. 13 times 2 million is 26. 26 million accounts get suspended each week. Okay, where they may suspect maybe spam, but because it's a week long, 100% of these accounts essentially become a account that is active at some point, maybe 6 days, maybe 2 days, but they are active and they are most likely tweeting. So if we take that 26 and we add it to the 500,000 times 90 days, which is 45 million, so 45 times 26 million, that's 71 million accounts per quarter at the lowest bound. At the lowest bound that are bots. At the lowest bound that are bots, okay? A majority of those haven't been active for enough time for them to do something. So remember, usually they catch the 500,000 a day that they catch, but there's also the 26 million a week that do not get caught usually before you notice it or I notice it, right? Twitter's user base is about 210 million active users in any given quarter. So 71 divided by 210 is about 33 to 34%. Okay? So this is what I mean by that. So in that tweet on its own, you guys correct me because this is how my brain works. If I'm being wrong, if I'm doing this incorrectly, please tell me. But this is how I'm thinking about it. At some point in any given quarter, 34% of your user base is a bot. It's just fact. It's a bot. Okay? Under this assumption, it's a bot. And so when you make that tweet public, how does that jive with the 5% number? You know what I'm saying? So like, to me, that 5% number, I'm not necessarily sure is a true calculation of accounts. I think what they're probably doing is they're taking a measure that says, okay, because they're not being public about this, right? They're just saying this is how we think we're doing it. So this is what they're probably doing. They're identifying accounts that they know for sure are real human beings. So say all the verified accounts. Then they're doing math that says, okay, those accounts on average tweet 10 times a day. Okay? Then they take the 10 and then multiply it times the expected, the known real user base they think they have to come out with a number. And then if on any given day, the amount of total tweets is higher than that number, the percentage increase between that, the percentage difference between that number and the real accounts is how many bots there are on the platform that are active. Right? But you're using a tweet number figure to do that. You're not really doing a bot account figure. This is how I think they're doing it. Okay? But if you're doing that, you're dramatically understating the potential bots that exist on the platform that are doing way less tweets than that, in theory, but they could have a much broader effect. Plus, if they're discounting all these guys from their calculation, that's yet another bunch of percentage of user accounts that are going to be on top of that, right? So that's why I think they're Twitter's trapped between a rock and a hard place, is because I think the calculation they use to come out with bot accounts is not actually counting the number of bots. I think it's trying to extrapolate out the activity on the platform using known real people, and then any excess is deemed as bot activity. You guys tell me what you think about that, but that's how I'm thinking about that, and I think that's why there's an issue there. But let me know. The 5% number is at any given time, not the total over a quarter. That's fair. But I do think those two kind of like, yeah, no, I think that's a fair call out. Dude, nice shirt. Thank you. Yeah. So I mean that's yeah. And that could be the thing that they calculated here, right? At any given time. But if 5% of your user base is sort of doing that at any given time, but you keep having new accounts come on board every single day, that's, I just feel like, I don't know if that 5% is a fair way of I don't know. I think that's a good point, Jonathan. That's a good point. Are part of so the logic fails on the assumption that those millions are part of the 210 million active users. Not that I believe the 5%. Okay, that's fair. Thank you, Simon. Good analysis, but you think that the bots would tweet more than real people? Yeah, that's true too. What you would assume, right? But it's also curious. Like, I wonder if there's bots that are way more targeted with their approach. If they're way more targeted about who gets the tweets, or they know maybe somehow they've learned from their bot making ability that, hey, if I go over a certain threshold, right, it's gonna identify me as a bot, so I have to sort of rejigger the way that I make the bots. Maybe I have to go 9 or 8 tweets a day or something like that, which is sort of goes back to Parag's comment about how they're constantly having to adjust to the user base as well. So, excuse me. You're the best, Farzi. Thank you, McKay. Thank you. Why are bots an issue? How does rate to brand advertising that is done on Twitter? Yeah, so the reason why bots are an issue is because advertisers pay for exposure on the platform. If Twitter's saying we have 210 million users you can advertise to, but in reality it's like 100, then advertisers are paying double what they really should be to advertise on the platform, and then they have grounds to sue the company for misleading them, right? So that's why this isn't like an Elon and Twitter thing. If it in fact is much higher than 5%, then it's not. Then Twitter is their lose-lose situation big time. Like, it's not just like, oh no, you're right, Elon, we'll lower the price. No, it's, oh shit, all the advertisers were told that it's 210 million users, it's really 100 million or 150 million. Then for all those years, the advertisers can come back and say, dude, you lied to us, we're suing you because we need half our money back, or something like that. That's why this is such a crazy thing. Fraud, Twitter in big trouble. Exactly. Hit the thumbs up button and help the channel. Thank you, DRK. Thank you for saying that for me. Appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Did you just realize you were wrong? I mean, I can see how I'm wrong. But again, that's just a calculation of the bots, right? That's just my assumption of him potentially exposing himself on the tweet. I could have been wrong in that for sure, 100%. I'm not afraid to be wrong. Dude, I'm wrong all the time. I wish more people were more comfortable being wrong. And part of my channel is like, I want to make it okay for people to like speak their mind. And if you say something wrong, then great, fix yourself, right? So and that's why I asked, like, if you guys think that I'm doing something incorrectly, tell me. I'm not afraid to be wrong at all. One of the biggest lessons I learned in Tesla, by the way. Can you explain what Musk means with the woke virus? I don't get it. I don't know much about it. But to me, it always appeared to be aware of racism, sexism, etc., which is not a bad thing in my mind. Yeah, I think it's much more deeper than that. You know, I think sometimes the woke mind virus is the way I interpret woke mind virus and the way I think about woke mind virus is the extreme interpretation of that where, you know, say somebody is offended or something, like, you know, you say something that's super benign and somebody is way overly sensitive, or they're trying to use the situation to say, hey, you said something racist or sexist. You know, I think that's what he refers to. It's oversensitivity to topics that inherently are not bad things to say, but people may find are a problem. Like a perfect example with this, and this could be a little bit controversial, but you know, actually, I'm not even going to say it because I'm not going to say it. But that's sort of where my head goes with that, right? It's a little bit too hardcore. Of course, sexism and racism is awful, the worst. I'm somebody who's, you know, is in the minority in the United States, and so I've experienced a little bit of racism growing up in my childhood, but you know, there's different forms of it. But I think it's when you take it too far. When you take it way too far, and you just make conversations really difficult out of fear that somebody is going to label you with something that is very far from the truth of what you've actually tried to converse or say. So everyone experiences racism. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely agree with that. It's definitely not reserved for a specific group of people. That's for sure. How can we fix the S&P ESG insanity? Yeah, I think the fact that they've left Tesla out of the listing is in itself a fix, because what that tells me is, okay, so ESG doesn't matter. I don't know. Sometimes you have these like boards and groups that exist for the sake of existing. They're not really bringing any. It's like the JD Power and Associates ranking that you have to pay to get the award. That's how I view ESG. But by the way, I really appreciate how open you guys are about the conversations we have on these live streams. Of course, usually we talk about Tesla and Elon stuff, but I'm not afraid to discuss things openly. I'll of course be as respectful as I can, but I'll also be as honest as I can. Okay, so I really appreciate how we've kept this comment section super good. I feel like you guys tell me if you agree with me or not, but I feel like this comment section has been very, very good at being open about ideas, but also being very, very respectful, and having good conversation. So super appreciate you guys for doing that. And that's my hope for this channel over time, is that we continue to grow with that mindset. Is like, let's talk about important things. Let's talk about things that matter. Let's talk about things that we're passionate about, but let's make sure we're respectful with each other, because that is the sort of conditions you need to be able to really nail down important topics and solve them. Okay. Yashu, anybody got their juju? Anyone got their juju today? Thank you, bro. I wore it for you. Yashu's the man. We got a special little, surprise for you guys for Q2 earnings on Yashu's channel. I'm not gonna say anything. I'll let Yashu announce it whenever he's ready. Thanks y'all very much. Can two-factor authorization, CAPTCHA, etc. help with Twitter's bot issue, like a rollout where new and existing users need to use two-factor or CAPTCHA to access their accounts? I don't see how that could hurt. Like how would that hurt? Every other, I feel like company on the internet uses that. Like my YouTube account, my email account, everything has two-factor. Theoretically, you could bypass it because if you're, you still don't have a human interaction theoretically, but yeah. Our Green Party in Canada said we are engaged in an ongoing genocide. That's a good example of what gone too far, in my honest opinion. Got it. What is your thoughts on Q2 earnings? I think that somebody just said it, right? If I'm wondering if market priced in bad Q2 for Tesla already. That's a big question. I don't see how it's not. If it's not, boy, like that's weird. But I don't know, man. I think analysts will adjust to the downside at the closer we get, which is going to impact the stock price potentially. But to me, I think it becomes a question of, okay, how much there was back in the 1200s, the conversation was Tesla's price to perfection. Okay, cool. So now that we're 700, one could make the argument that Tesla is priced with a lot of future, with the assumption that they're going to have a rough few quarters. Okay. But if the picture is the opposite and they actually are overcoming things much better than people thought, then to me, those are straight catalysts, right? So at some point, the page has to turn. Timing that page is impossible, but that's the way I think about the current price action. If 1200 was priced to perfection, 700 to me is like priced for failure. And so to me, that's how I think about Q2. So if Q2, say that the analysts expect 275 cars once it comes out, and it turns out that Berlin and Austin are ramping way faster than they thought. Fremont's shipping way more cars than they initially thought. And Shanghai is actually back to a decent amount. They ship, say, 300,000 cars. We're back to that train. And now Q3 and Q4 are going to be astronomically high because Austin and Berlin are going to be much more ramped up. So, shirt is fire. Thank you, Buck. Thank you. Buck's got a little badge next to his name because he's joined the channel. Thank you very much, Buck. Long time channel member. Thank you very much. And Daniel, thank you very much for the super chat, $2 super chat. You're the man. Thank you very much. Buying Twitter for the data to train bot AI. I don't know if it's so much to train the bot. I could see how that could be the case, like long term in some way. But I do really think ultimately, and I made a video about this on my channel, I think Twitter is an AI safety play. Meaning that I think they're going to gain exposure to the algorithms that are used to run social medias, because social media, if you really think about it, algorithms are one of the ways where AI can really hurt civilizations because they can cause a lot of division, echo chambers, things like that. And that is AI safety. Because those algorithms, the more advanced they get, theoretically, they could become much closer to AI than anything, instead of just algorithms. And then that, if the algorithm thinks, oh, I need to group these people against each other, or I need to group these people in this way, and just let them sort of converse amongst each other and develop some sort of mind virus, call it, that's a form of AI safety, right? So I think ultimately Elon's purchase of Twitter is an AI safety issue, and the free speech marketing, almost the labeling of this thing, is the non-abstract way of thinking about free speech. You know what I'm saying? Or it's a non-abstract way of thinking about AI safety is free speech. Not having free speech due to bannings and algorithms going crazy is a form of AI safety not existing, because we're not safekeeping what a lot of people agree is one of the most important things to ensure that civilization survives in the future and that most people have the best outcomes. So let me know if you guys agree with that or not, but that's how I think about it. 369 viewers. Can we get to 469? Like the channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much. FSC Beta 1012 thoughts. Can't wait to try it. Hadouken, welcome. Welcome to the channel, my friend. Thank you very much for joining. I really appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much. Welcome on board. Please tell me you did that just to do that. Thank you. Hadouken. Anyone else Street Fighter fans? Oh, man. Thank you all very much for having a very active chat. This is my favorite part of doing live streams. Again, the chat is awesome. The numbers. Hermano Farzad. For those that don't know, hermano means brother in Spanish. Chat's so good because of your channel's work. Since you're open and honest and sometimes wrong, we feel willing to do the same. And I agree with Daniel, data cell. Thank you very much, man. That was very kind of you to say. Thank you. That means a lot, because that's exactly every single thing I do on this channel is with the goal of being open and honest and not afraid to make mistakes, because that's how I learn. And I think that's how most people learn, is by making mistakes and by saying things that are incorrect. We need to get over that sort of hump of like punishing people for that, right? Hopefully I can add that. I can add a little bit to that discussion. Is your YouTube revenue impacted by how active the chat is? It is not, actually. Yeah, YouTube revenue is mainly driven by how many viewers there are. The chat activity has nothing to do with revenue. That's a good question. Only if like people like donate or something, like somebody very kindly donated $2 and somebody joined the channel a little bit earlier. Those are the only things that would. And if, you know, as people view the channel, YouTube pushes ads, and then I get like freaking like a fraction of a cent, for probably less than that, to be honest. But that's the only way that it is monetized. And the thing with YouTube is, unless you have some sort of ads on your videos, YouTube doesn't push your content, because they're like, well, we're not going to make money on it. So it's kind of like this, like, it's almost like unfortunately I have to push with ads, or YouTube just says, nah, your stuff, we don't care. You know, it kind of stuck in a little bubble of like, you put in the corner. But that's why I never do non-skippable ads, because at least I want to give you guys the ability to skip the ads as quickly as humanly possible. So that's my thought process, but good question. I think at some point, once I do YouTube for a year, I think I'm going to do a video on like what I've learned doing YouTube, with hopes of like, if someone else wants to make a YouTube channel, maybe they can benefit from it. Because I've learned a few things, and I am not a freaking YouTuber like anyone else that's out there doing it for way longer than I have. But I think it'd be interesting, maybe from somebody's opinion that has done it for the first year, say, maybe there's some tips and tricks that could help. But Yeah. Looking forward to that. You got it, Edward. Thank you, brother. Come on, 420 viewers. Elon will be proud. Yeah, if we can make that happen, that'd be awesome. Thank you. Do you think Tesla employees follow Elon's tweets more or less same as Tesla fans? Do the tweets get discussed as heavily internally? That's a really good question, Tom. So while I was there, we definitely, we talked about it quite a bit, actually. We did. I think the employees, I would say, as a whole, the employees are probably a little bit less engaged with the Twitter stuff because they work for the company. You know, like they know what goes on every single day. They're there. They see it with their own two eyes. Whereas Twitter is kind of like a periphery look potentially into what Elon's thinking and what he's doing and whatnot. So there's definitely many people that follow Twitter in Tesla. And there's many people in Tesla that also follow Tesla YouTubers as well, which is super funny. I remember telling, like, when I joined the YouTube community, I would tell people, like, you guys have no idea how valuable you guys were in 2018, 2019 when, like, FUD was at peak and everybody was shitting on the company. And there was, like, an army of, like, you guys, everybody in the comments, all the YouTube creators, the Twitter people, the people buying the cars, the people on the forums. The positivity and the support of the company was monumental in keeping us sane while we were working at the company, because it was so difficult to come home after 12, 14-hour days and then go on the news, and then the news is shitting on Elon, shitting on Tesla. You have family and friends telling you that, hey, you should probably sell all your stock because the company's going bankrupt, and why you're working there? What the hell is the point of doing this? Bro, it was crazy. So you guys were so important. So round of applause to you guys and everybody out there that went through that, because I'm telling you guys, that was gigantic. Gigantic. So thank you. Thank you very much for doing that. Tesla YouTubers were really cheerleaders back in the day. Yeah, everybody was, man. Everybody in the community. Everybody in the community. Yeah. 50% Tesla correction for multimillionaire YouTubers is very different than the average Joe. Most don't cover this side of Tesla coverage. It's large numbers game. Yeah, I mean, I think I can definitely see how that's true, V, for sure. I mean, if you have 10 million in Tesla and it goes down to 5, you still have 5 million. But in the end, I think is how comfortable you are with your investment. And, you know, if you have sources of income that can help you survive and you're in the company for the right reasons, then, you know, I think that's ultimately what's most important. I'm here for the guitar. Tom, welcome. I love every time Tom comes in. I'm here for the guitar. 4:45-ish, we're going to get on the guitar stuff. So thank you, brother, for coming in. Tom's the man. He was on my channel twice. He's my, I call him my Russian brother from another Russian mother. I gotta buy some Adidas. They call it Adidas, apparently outside of the US. I gotta buy some Adidas. Next time Tom and I sit down, I'll wear a tracksuit. Do you know who advertises on your channel or have any control over who does? No. Not at all. I think the way YouTube does it is they study the viewership that's on my channel, and then they try to come up with algorithms that say, oh, well, there's these people, this individual viewer is most likely to be interested in blah, and then they push ads from that blah. So I have zero control over what gets advertised on my channel. Yeah. What would you say to friends, family? It's not a loss if you don't sell. That's true. That's true, Tom. That's true. What would you say to friends, family that say Elon is a narcissist? Those questions are always so important because they're so like interesting, because it's almost people are going to think what they want to think. You know, I would say the question becomes why is it important for you or them to think that he's not, right? Like, how does that impact you? And so once you understand that question, then I think you can come up with the answer, you know? Because I've sort of like moved on from like what people think of Elon or Tesla, because I'm like, okay, they have every right to think that way. Who am I to change your mind? If that's what you think, great. If that means you're going to lose out on potentially the opportunity of a lifetime to invest in his companies, okay, it's not my fault. So, you know, that's how I think about it. What do you think will be talked about during AI day number 2? I think it's going to be definitely going to be bot and full self-driving. I think they'll probably, maybe that's when they'll show single stack. Maybe they'll have single stack ready by then. But some folks are potentially, are hopeful that there'll be a bot demo, which would be nuts. So I would say like 10% chance. Okay, come on. Let's be a little bit more optimistic here, guys. Come on. Let's say 25% bot, 75% single stack. Yeah. And then they'll use that to try to hire more people and to show the cool stuff they're working on. But that's how I think about it. So Tom, marry my mother. That's so funny. People say that Elon is a narcissist, are only watching CNN. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah. The bigger you are, the more hit you're going to bring to yourself. It's just law of big numbers at that point. The more attention you get, you're going to get more good attention and more bad attention. So it is what it is. Oh, shit. Okay. Elon confirmed to Dave Lee that the bot will be shown. Sick. There you go. My 25% was too low. That's crazy. That's actually kind of crazy. Damn. So what are the implications of that, right? If they get it to a point where the bot can walk and bend over and pick up stuff and follow orders, how's that? Like they've reached Boston Dynamics level in like a year, where Boston Dynamics has been sort of working on this for a decade plus. And the fact that they're experts at the software level with full self-driving, and it's going to use the same sort of like overarching architecture for bot. Shit, I got to think about that more, because that has a lot of implications potentially. Crazy. Did you see Warren Redlick's video about the 4680 mystery? I actually talked to him about it on my channel. Him and I sat down, I believe late last week, and had a conversation about it. And I think there's definitely something going on there. I think one of the things you want to be really careful with is to not Osborne your Fremont Model Y. So I think they're going to have to offer some sort of product that's similar to the current version. And maybe over time, what they'll do is they'll give the ability for people to unlock more range over time, theoretically. So, excuse me. Technically, the bot appeared at the last AI day. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think it will be an actual, bot that will move. Like, it will actually be like a thing. All right, we're going to do guitar in about 10 minutes. How's that sound? You guys okay with that? Should we do some guitar in about 10 minutes? Thank you all very much. Thank you all very much for joining this stream, by the way. What a beautiful shirt you're wearing. Thank you. I'll wear it for you. We just had, we had such an amazing day today. Oh, I don't have my doggy on. Where's the doggy? There's the doggy. Oh, we have a great day today. So it's, we got to celebrate. What's your take on the 2 undercover vids of the Twitter exec and engineer? Yeah, I mean, are they real? Are we sure they're real? If we can confirm that they're real, I think, unfortunately, I would not be surprised, because I've been exposed to a little bit of the culture of some tech companies. Not necessarily Tesla, but I'll sort of kind of not name these companies. And oh man, how do I say this nicely? People are very confident in their thoughts. Let me just say that. Man, you made me pick out my guitar again. Yes. That's great. From EPA data, I was able to calculate the Austin Model Y pack capacity of 65.4 usable capacity. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how that plays out as they continue to ramp. So we don't know if it's real. Okay. And that's why I was saying people are stupid. Never said that. I've never said that. Never. I hope Tesla does not replicate the dancing videos by Boston Dynamics, but if they do, it should dance like Elon. Yeah. I think only Elon can dance like Elon, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, thank God. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think if they're going to actually show it, what they should do is have it perform a task that would be common in a work environment. So for example, like picking up objects, placing objects. Like one of the cool things, like when I worked at the facility at Tesla that I worked at, at the warehouse, if you can show a bot that can move products from one place to another, either a box or a part or something, that would be ginormous. Like, for example, staging was one of the things that was kind of a boring, repetitive, tedious job, but it has to be done. Otherwise, you can't move the product from the freaking outbound floor to the trucks. So if you show like a bot is able to pick up, like say you have a pallet, right? Like if I was Tesla, this would be my demo for the bot. You say, Tesla bot, move product from staging area to trailer. Then the bot would take a manual forklift, right? It would put it under a pallet. Then on the pallet, it would take the boxes that are strewn across the floor. It would take the boxes, read the label, see what the locations are. If it's going to go to Dock 1, say Dock 1's FedEx Express, it would locate all the labels that have FedEx Express on them. He would stage the if it's a freaking person. It would take the boxes that say FedEx Express on them with the FedEx label. It would place it on the pallet. It would push the pallet jack over to the dock door for FedEx Express, and then it would take the boxes from the pallet and neatly stack them in the trailer. If it can somehow show that demo, I think that would be transformational, because you think about the supply chain problems we've been having, a significant amount of labor goes into that motion right there. You don't get anything unless you put stuff in trucks, right? So if the bot can do that, forget it. That would be nuts. Like, that seems boring. Like, that sounds boring. Like, take box moving from place to place, and as humans, we take it for granted. But if a bot can do that, like, if it can literally do that, forget it. Forget it. Let's hope a bot demo goes better than the Cybertruck window smash demo. That would be amazing. They should actually throw a metal ball at the bot and see if it cracks. Oh my God, will blow my mind and everyone else, I'm sure. Yeah, that's the sort of demo you need to really create shockwaves. If it's just like, if it walks back and forth and bends over and picks up stuff, you theoretically could say, okay, the next step is to program it to do that. But that is like, if it can do that, forget it, man. That would be insane, because that would be applicable to anything. And all you have to do is kind of like maybe program some things in the bot that say, hey, the condition here is to scan FedEx labels. And then, for today, dock door number 1 is FedEx Express. And then so you program the bot to say, yeah, or you tell it, hey, Tesla bot, FedEx Express, dock 1 today. And it'd be like, okay, cool. So then every time it picks up FedEx Express, it knows to go to dock 1, right? That would be gigantic. And then you extrapolate that out further, like up the stream to picking, right? Then picking is like, you download the pick list for the day for yourself or for that run, and then you already know where all the bin locations are for the part. And you just go to the part, you pick the quantity that you need. Yeah, forget it. I mean, it's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. I used to unload trucks for UPS, and it is hot and tiring in the truck. A bot there just unloading and dropping the box onto the belt would be great. 100%. That would be such a huge plus. And those bots can work 24/7. So you don't have to even there's like zero timing constraints. You can work through breaks. It would be nuts. It would be completely nuts. Okay. Two more minutes. There would be no way a bot will be driving a forklift, let alone doing complex tasks in it. Why? Why not? Why do you need a bot on a forklift? Why not just come out with an automated forklift? Why doesn't Tesla just make automated forklifts? Put freaking cameras on every single vantage point so that you can drive around the warehouse safely. Put cameras on the forklift itself, like the forks. Replace the bot entirely. Just have a forklift that is self-driving. That would be gigantic. How do bots know what's in the right box to pick up? It would be all label driven. So in the system, if you have a packer, I used to do this for a living, by the way. So if you have a packer that packs something into a box, that slip, that work order in the system, he would tag it as, hey, this box has X number of parts, and then he would print out a shipping label, and the shipping label will be tagged to that order. So all those individual parts will be tagged to that shipping label, and then that shipping label, you can decide if it's express, ground, whatever. And then based on that, that type of freight, so like what speed you needed to get to the customer at, then the bot will immediately know, as long as you tell it, hey, today Dr. 1 is FedEx Express, it will know to take that box there, right? So it doesn't even have to care about what product's in the box. All it has to worry about is what trailer am I taking this box to based on the carrier and how quickly it needs to get there. Yeah, exactly. Barcode, QR code on the label that has the data of what and where. Yeah, and that's already there. So it's already tied to the package. So, are you afraid of Elon's involvement in politics lowering Tesla demand? People on the left not wanting to support Elon because he votes Republican? Not at all. Not even the slightest. Not even in the slightest. I think this like left-right thing is very... I think like 90% of the population is somewhere around the middle. And the extreme 5% just will not do anything with anything anyway. And yeah, I'm not worried about it. There's way too much demand. It might go from 100% demand to 90% demand, but at that point, it's 90 million people or 90 million cars a year potentially. Okay, are we ready for some guitar? We'll play one song today, because I got some stuff to do, unfortunately. But we'll play a song. So here we go. I'll be in Austin next week when I get lunch. Thank you, Anthony. I'm actually going to be quite busy next week, but thank you for the offer. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. All right, guitar time. Thank you very much for staying with me so far. Here's a doggy one more time. Let's celebrate the doggy. Say hello, doggy. Oh, and last but not least, oh my God, how can we forget? We need to thank Mary Barra for being so advanced with her ESG initiatives at GM. So thank you, Mary Barra. Thank you so much for the incredible leadership you've had with your ESG rankings. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. You led and it mattered. Thank you. Thank you. Let's make sure we thank Mary. Thank you. The meme that will never die on this channel, especially. Okay. Thank you all so much for sticking with me. We'll play a guitar song and then we'll bounce. Go! Okay, bye, VFX. Thank you very much for stopping by. I feel like I should play some like Beach Boys or something. But we'll stick with our usual theme of metal. Okay, here we go. Thank you all very much. All right. Wherever I May Roam by Metallica. Here we go. Thank you all very much. Get some stress out. It's been a rough couple days. Just let it all out. Let it all out. This is the forum for you to do that. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Sing along if you know the lyrics. I'm a bad singer, so I'm counting on you guys. Catch you next stream, Tom.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, man. We'll see you again next week. Thank you all for stopping by. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys very much. Next week, same time-ish, Wednesday, around between 3 and 4 p.m. Central. Thank you very much for stopping by. I hope that relieved some stress. That for sure relieved some stress for me and one of my favorite things to do. So thank you all very much again. Love you guys. Take care. Hug your loved ones. Hug yourself. And love you guys. Bye. Take it easy.